Hey, what is up guys? Gibbs Frontline here. I want to help you guys out with building your neural helixes on your characters, the best ones you want to have for every character and the alternatives that they can do as well. If you don't know what a neural helix is or you just haven't gotten there in terms of building your characters, it is over here when you're leveling up the character's talents. It is these purple looking key, they call them keys in this game, and each character has 6 of them that you can choose from, and once you get all 6 you get a common key after, and common keys are able to be used on all of your characters. Now what I want to show you is the best ones that you want to use on the character, because you can actually only equip 3 of these keys on your character, and then you can equip 3 common keys. Now right now in the event they have 2 common keys that are pretty universal that you can use on everyone. As you can see, this one has crit rate and attack boost, and this one has an attack and defense boost. You could pretty much use that on like any character in the game. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm gonna timestamp this video as well so you don't have to scroll through and all of it. Also, I'll be referencing the big Google Doc that is going around for big reference on the game and builds and all of that, so keep that in mind as well. But starting with Nemesis here, Nemesis is going to want her keys to be 1, 2, and 5. So her first 2 keys here, and then her 5th key. This goes from 1, 2, then this is 3, then this is 4, this is 5, and this is 6. Just for future reference here, so you know which keys I am talking about, because I'll stay on the menus to make it more simple as I go through. So Nemesis here, she's going to want 1, 2, and 5. Pretty easy there. All right, and going on to ullrid here, one of the rate up characters for 1.0. We have swift action, predation, and appropriate caution, which is keys 1, 2, and 3 that you're going to want on her. Her first key is good because when she does whirlwind, which is pretty much like an action reset, it makes it so she can use all of her skills instead of only being able to use whirlwind. The only thing is this makes her extra confectance hungry, and she's already a confectance index hungry character. Her second one is just a defense shred. I mean, pretty straightforward. And her third one makes it so she starts the fight with extra confectance, which is huge for how hungry she is on confectance. Suomi also has something like this as well, which is really nice for her kit. Now going on to Suomi, who is our other rate up character. Suomi is also going to want 1, 2, but instead of 3 here, she wants key 6. 1 is going to make it so after she uses her skill, if the target's in a stability break state, she's going to restore 2 more of the unit stability, which means your teammates, when you put the shield on them, if they don't have any more stability yet, she's going to boost up their stability. The second one, she starts with extra confectance index. This makes it so you can usually turn 1 ulti, which is really nice for her. And her last one is at 6, which nobody is close to, so you can just hold out until then, or if you want to, you can hold with key 3 and 5 here until you get up to 6. Once you get up to 5 though, you'll have 6. So if you want to hold out on which key you should use before getting onto key 6 here, you should be using key 3 because it gives you an extra confectance index point if the character is below 80% HP. So usually if like in endgame content, it's probably they got hit like 1 time because they start doing a lot of damage later on in the game, but you need level 30 for this. So keep that in mind. She is going to want keys 1, 2, and 6, but as a temporary until you get to key 6, you can use key 3. All right, and for Tololo here, she's going to want keys 1, 2, and 3. All of these keys are pretty straightforward. Her first one makes it so when she gets her extra action at the start of the fight, or just when her confectance fills up, she gets an extra mobility. Her second one makes it so when she uses her black hole inversion, she applies a congestion debuff, which is just a hydro debuff on the enemy where they cannot be healed. The third one is when she does extra action, she gets an attack boost and a damage boost for 1 turn. Pretty straightforward. All right, there's 3 characters also that I don't have that I want to give you guys information for. So I can't show you the neural helix screen, but I can still show you which keys that you want to have on them for qionjiu, mosin, and littara here. For qionjiu, she's going to want keys 3, 4, and 5. Her third key makes it so when she's in her support mode, which is when you cast her ultimate, that she is going to apply a defense decrease. Her fourth key makes it so that when you do Guide of Victory, parry, and now will hit everyone in the line, and it'll do 30% decrease to damage to the enemies except for the first target, which is similar to her skill that she does that sends it down the line. And her 5th key makes it so that she gets Flame Assault for 2 turns if she counters the enemy's weakness, which means she attacks someone that's fire weak. And there's an alternative key you can use for bossing as well on qionjiu, which is having her 1st key, which makes it so that she starts the fight with 3 extra confectants, which means you can start off with your ultimate, which is really big. Now for mosin nagant here, she's going to want keys 1, 2, and 6. Her 1st key makes it so that they have paralysis, which is her lightning debuff, that she is going to deal increased damage to their stability gauge. Her 2nd one makes it so that if electric damage is dealt, she will apply paralysis, and she no longer applies conductance, which is another one of her debuffs. And her 6th key, which we'll be getting way later, makes it so that if she applies her paralysis debuff, that she gets extra movement, which is pretty nice. All right, and lastly, in my 3 characters that I don't have is littara. She wants keys 1, 2, and 6. Most people aren't going to be using littara, honestly, because eventually you can get peritya, and AoE just has a big fall off, and she's a 4-star, and we get another 4-star for free. But yeah, you want to use keys 1, 2, and 6 on her if you plan on playing littara here. Next, we have Sabrina here, and her keys you want to use is 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. But for PvP, you can actually switch to key 6, but obviously that'll be way later on. Her 1st key makes it so that she gets a defense increase when she's attacked. Her 2nd one makes it so she starts with confectant index, just her very solid stuff that most people get. And her 4th one makes it so that if her confectance is not full, she recovers 2 for every stability index. All right, and for peritya here, she is going to want keys 1, 2, and 6. Now, if you want to have her ultimate turn 1, you can also use an alternative of having key 5 for one of your keys, but that's only if you really want your ultimate turn 1 for some reason. There could be a specific reason where you want turn 1 ultimate. But yeah, keys 1, 2, and 6 are going to be her best keys here. Next here we have Vepley, who's a character you get for free, but unfortunately she gets power crept by Lada. But if you really like the character, she is usable, obviously, but do keep that in mind as well. But for neural helixes, she wants keys 1 and 3, which is goes to show about the character. Some alternatives you can do are keys 2, 5, and 6, which are the rest of her keys here. She never wants to use key 4, it seems, and that is about it for Vepley here. You've got keys 1 and 3, which make it so she gets quick barrier if there's no allied units within 6 tiles of the unit. And then there is key 1, which makes it so that stability damage is increased with targets who have movement debuffs. Next, we have Nagant, who I swear looks like Lumine from Genshin, but I mean, blonde hair, red eyes can only be so many characters realistically. She is going to want keys 2, 4, and 6 here. Her 2nd key makes it so that if she attacks an enemy with a defense debuff, reduces her cooldowns, which is pretty solid. Her 4th key makes it so that if she's using Friend of Justice and it hits twice, she gets a little bit of a damage boost on it. And her 6th key makes it so that when using Senior Admonishment, if there's a stability break, it does increase the damage. All right, next we have Ksenia here. I don't know how you say her name, but she uses keys 1, 4, and 6. Her 1st key, when she heals someone that is not her, she gets 1 random buff and applies it to them and to the person who's buffed. She gets her 4th key, which makes it so when she uses Comprehensive Rescue, the user gains the same buffs. And then when she uses key 6, this makes it so that if she is using Heat Recovery, she gains an extra point of Confectance Index. Next, we have Cheta here, who's going to be using keys 1, 2, and 3. You can get them nice and early. Her 1st key gives her 3 points of Confectance, makes it so she can start the fight with her ultimate, as usual. The 2nd one increases the range of her action support. Action supports follow-up attacks. And her 3rd one makes it so that when she uses her skill, it gains a new effect that heals people as well. All right, next we have Sharkery here. Sharkery also wants keys 1, 2, and 3. Her 1st key makes it so she can start the fight with her ultimate, 3 extra confectance points. Her 2nd one makes it so that if there is an enemy with overburden in her range, that she does wise support, which is a buff that it does extra physical damage and some stability points, and can be done 3 times per turn. And then her 3rd one makes it so that at the start of any of her turns, if there's a unit nearby with overburn on them, then she's also going to get a buff in that turn as well. All right, then we have colphne, who is our starter healer that you get at the very start of the story with groza and stuff. She is going to want keys 1, 2, and 3. Very simple. Her first key makes it so when she uses her skill, you get a defense up and shelter on the target that is skilled. Her second one makes it so that if one of her allies gets a stability break on them, then they get a movement buff, which is pretty nice. No, the movement buff is on her, actually, misread that. And the third one makes it so that if she is using Battlefield Glow, or the effect is active, then it also heals people within 3 units. Pretty nice. Then we have Krolik here, who is the sword DPS that you get at the start of the game for free as well. She is going to want keys 2, 3, and 5. Unfortunately though, Krolik has not ever been up in the meta, and I think it's just because she's a sword, and swords just kind of fall off. You can see with ullrid being the rate up character, if you play HSR, I kind of think the rate up banners right now is like Ron May versus 1.0 Celia or qionjiu. But yeah, her keys she's going to want is 2, 3, and 5 here. Her second key makes it so that her active skill does 30% increased damage if it only hits 1 unit. Her third one makes it so that if there's no units nearby her, she gets a damage booster. And then her fifth key makes it so that at the start of a turn, if there's enemies with overburn, she gets blazing assaults. Pretty simple. And last but definitely not least is our orange hair baddie groza. You also get her for free. She's going to want keys 1, 4, and 6. First one makes it so that if there's a stability break, she gets a defense down and attack down on the enemy. Her fourth one makes it so that if heavy suppression causes the enemy to break their stability, she applies a taunt on them, forcing them to attack her. And her sixth one here makes it so that during a stability break on herself, she is going to restore 20% of her max HP, get free stability index, and cleanse 4 debuff. But this can only happen once per battle. All right, and that's going to be all for the HELIX guide on the dolls. Let me know what else you guys want to see guides for. I plan on doing some for the events on the missions that are in here, because I know some of you guys are having trouble with those, and I want to help you guys out. Also, I plan on doing a build guide for all of the characters as well, so stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this, as usual, make sure to like, sub, comment what you think. Who's your favorite character? Which dolls are you playing the most? You know, stuff like that. Maybe tell me what your luck and everything is like. I also recently hit level 30, so I'll probably do like an account review or something like that as well. And as usual, if you want to add me, feel free to. I'll add all of you guys back. I've been adding you, some of you have been adding me. Appreciate that. And yeah, that is what I will be doing. Goodbye.